Hello everyone and welcome to SCW Eurodrive's How-To series. We're going to be discussing how to maintain and take care of your product. So let's get into it. Today we're going to talk about torque. What is torque? Well, you've probably heard it mentioned a lot in some of these videos. We talk about torquing bolts. We talk about torque wrenches. We talk about the amount of torque that's produced by a gearbox. What is this all about? Well, in simple terms, torque is a twisting force. Think about you use torque every day when you're turning your steering wheel. It takes torque to do that. Or if you're opening a jar from something out of the refrigerator, that is torque. But in an industrial setting, we want to talk about why it's important that we understand torque. First and foremost, torque is what holds these bolts together with this gearbox. If you don't have enough torque, well, then things can leak. If you have too much torque, then it could still leak because you've spread out your gasket too thin, or maybe even sheared the bolt off because it's tightened too much. Now, to illustrate how you can adjust torque, it's as easy as using a wrench. So, for instance, I've got this small wrench here, and I want to tighten this bolt. So as I'm tightening it, it's going to require a little bit more force in my hand to get that little bolt there to the right torque setting. If I use the same size socket but a longer arm, now you're going to notice I can reach that torque value, that tightening value, much more easily because I have a longer wrench. So how do you take that and turn it into a twisting force? Well, that's where a gearbox comes into play. If you notice here, we have multiple gears. Those gears combined create a lot of torque when it's moved. Now, if you took those gears and flattened them out, you'd have essentially a long arm. But because we're trying to create a rotational force, that's why we use these gears, so that you can get a lot of torque in a small package. And again, why is torque important when you're talking about industrial applications such as a gearbox? Well, things can break if you have the wrong torque applied. So it's very important that, say when you're using a conveyor, that you know how much torque you need to move something from A to B. If you have too much torque, you can break things. And if you don't have enough torque, then it won't move. So either way, it's very important that you calculate the proper amount of torque. Just know that SCW Eurodrive speaks that language. And so no matter what your torque is, we can set you up with a proper gearbox to give you that torque that you need. In summary, torque tells us how much output force is being generated by the gearbox or the motor. And we need to remember, it's very important to understand just how much torque you need so that you have the right application and the right gearbox match together. It's also important when you're performing maintenance or any type of work on your units that you follow all of the torque specs that are found in SCW Eurodrive technical documentation and operating instructions. Ultimately, no matter what your application is, no matter what your situation is, we have the right application to match the torque that you need. If you're interested in learning more about SCW Eurodrive's components, products, or solutions, please go to scweurodrive.com. Together, we drive the world.